quite a bit, but you know, as far as I guess I don't know how it. I know that it does affect what we call it, you know, your anabolic system, your ability to put on muscle mass. So I suppose in the long run that has a negative effect on metabolism. But whether you're 5 years old, 95 years old, a pound of muscle is still a pound of muscle. So I think that it probably makes it harder from that standpoint. Whether or not, you know, if all things stay the same, body composition, muscle mass stays the same, would menopause necessarily slow your metabolism? To the best of my knowledge, not to a significant degree. I think it's more in the effect that the exercise and the effect of that anabolic state, or the lack of the ability to get into that state where you're able to build mass and increase your fat burning ability. That's probably diminished after.
I think it's going to be more of a challenge for somebody who hasn't been active and working out,
right,
who's through menopause. They're going to have a negative effect or advantage.
Right. If you don't have that lean muscle mass beforehand, to get it afterwards, it's going to be tougher, as opposed to somebody who's already got a good base to work from, and is just simply trying to maintain that metabolism. Anything else? Other questions? No? Okay. So we got a list of myths put together here. And I guess, without trying to read too much of the answer, tell me what you think, what you know, what you don't know about some of these myths. You know, even if it's just a one-word answer, yes or no, true or false. But fresh produce is better than frozen produce. True or false?
I probably would have said true, but
If
now
it's
I see
local,
that
it's not true. If it's local, it's true.
If it's local, it's true, exactly. The idea there being the degradation of basically the nutrition, the vitamins and minerals become less potent, less active, less absorbable, and many of them are actually destroyed in the transport process. Time is a vitamin's worst enemy. So the fresher that you can get your fruits and vegetables, locally grown, go to the farmer's market, start a garden, whatever it is, those are going to be the most nutritious foods that you can eat. So those frozen vegetables are, you know, if something came from Argentina, it takes a lot less time to pick something, cut it up, wash it, and freeze it than it does to ship it all the way from Argentina. So a lot more of the vitamins and minerals are going to be intact within the food than those that are shipped out of season.
So are you supposed to prepare it in a certain way then?
Steaming is the best way to go. If you boil them, if you ever boil broccoli or carrots and then you pour the water out, it's got kind of a color tinge to it, that's all your vitamins coming down the drain. So try and steam or microwave them if you can. Try not to wash those vitamins out. And if you do steam, the lower the amount of water, or if you do boil, the lower the amount of water that you use, potentially the less the amount of leaching that's going to happen. But I guess I don't have the exact data on that. Steam or microwave. Reduced fat means low fat. It could. You know, it depends upon how much fat was in the original product. So just because it's lower fat than the original does not mean that it's going to be a good choice. So really do your due diligence and read those labels. Vegetarian equals healthy. I don't think that, as far as that balance of protein, fat, carbohydrates, what our bodies were made for, a vegetarian diet doesn't meet that without some, you know, a lot of hard work. Our bodies were made to consume protein. So.
Well, somebody says low fat, does that have to be a certain percentage? Or is it reduced?
From the previous question,
Yeah.
Low fat? Yeah, 25% less fat than the original, but say.
Oh, I thought that was just for juice.
I don't know what low fat is when your label says low fat.
That's just.
But reduced fat is 25%.
Oh, it's 50.
50%.
But you still don't know low fat.
Right, so if I take a Big Mac and cut the fat in half, well, you're still well over 20 grams of fat, so that's really not going to be a low fat item. That's probably half your fat for the day.
So there's nothing on a package about fat other than reading the nutrition label that it gives you any kind of useful information.
Exactly.
Okay.
Isn't there a difference too between saturated fat and, you know, like a higher percentage of those, like on label? Like if something's high in saturated fat but lower in,
Unsaturated, saturated, unsaturated.
whatever unsaturated mono,
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So the different types of fat. Now
Just got done with work, sorry for that.
the total amount of fat is going to encompass all of it. So really when it comes to calories, when it comes to weight loss, that's what we're about. Because whether it's a gram of saturated fat or unsaturated fat or trans fat, they all have nine calories. So from a weight loss standpoint, that doesn't make a huge difference. From a health standpoint, when it comes to health, cancer prevention, those sorts of things, you want to choose more of the unsaturated fats.
That's what I was looking for, okay.
Whether it's mono unsaturated or polyunsaturated, both are going to be the healthier choices. Mono unsaturated fat really being the best of the best. As far as I guess back to vegetarian items, there's just there's a lot of things that can still go wrong. Vegetarian doesn't necessarily mean healthy. You can still have too much fat. You can still have too much sodium. So whether it's vegetarian or not, you still need to read the label and know what you're actually getting. Don't just assume that it's going to be healthy. Salads are the best choice for weight loss. Depends upon what you put on. Depends upon what kind of greens you use. An iceberg salad with tons of ranch dressing, blue cheese dressing, cheddar cheese, no protein. Not a lot working for us there. But if we use the darker leafy greens, the spinach, the kale, like your mixed baby greens that you see in the grocery stores, very nutritious. Tons of antioxidants, tons of vitamins and minerals. And then what you put on them, small amounts of dressing, add some lean protein to it. Even a little bit of carbohydrate won't hurt. So long as it's done within you're still getting the necessary amount of carbohydrate throughout the day. There's no reason that there can't be carbohydrates in a salad, croutons, things like that. But be aware of what you're actually eating. Be aware of how much sodium and fat that you're getting with those. Fat-free versus sugar-free, this is the tricky one. Which is better?
The fat-free usually trades for sugar, and the sugar-free usually trades
Right.
for fat. So
Fat-free items oftentimes have almost as many calories as the full-fat item. You have to add starch to thicken the product, and then you also need to add sugar to sweeten to make up for what fat takes away when they take all the fat out. And so oftentimes calorie-wise, which again is what we're really interested in, those fat-free or low-fat items aren't really that much lower in calories. They're not as low as we would assume that they are. The one thing that the fat does for us when we leave the fat in is it makes the food more satisfying. It tastes better. You get a little bit more out of it. It also stays in your stomach longer because it takes your body longer to digest that fat. Or any meal that has more fat in it, those are those stick to your ribs kind of meals. They keep you full and satisfied for hours after the meal. Whereas if you're eating the fat-free item, you don't get that benefit. So, in my book, go with only low fat or full fat, never fat-free items. In order to maximize your weight loss, cut out the sweets. It's kind of a psychology